Our mission is to transform lives through intelligent, interactive, and individualized fitness experiences. So we're very, very tied to that mission, and everything that we do to create with Lumen ties back to that. So, to the human component, there is a coach in the room. We have a human coach who's making sure that, you're interacting with the technology correctly and is there really just as a guide. The technology brings you through the workout, but there's certainly a human coach there. You can also interact with the people to your left and right if you choose to do it. So, that's what we're trying to do is make it very, very interactive and deliver on what consumers want today, but not losing sight of the fact that this is a fitness program. We're asking people to pay us to exert some level of pain on them. So we just want to do it in a way that's not on top of mind, that you're actually having fun, you're seeing results.
Welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by Netcertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. Netcertive's Madeleine Park talked shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Today I've got Craig Sherwood of Lumin Fitness. Craig, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I met Craig because his PR agency reached out and said, hey, I think this might be a good fit for your fitness summit you have. I said, all right, cool, fitness, emerging brand, whatever, went about my day. Did a little background research. I was like, yeah, it looks super legit. Like, we'll throw him in the mix. He's, Craig is certainly has been in the franchise world for a while. And then when you were talking about it on the summit, I was like, holy shit, man, this thing is cool. And that means a lot because I see lots of different brands. But before we get into exactly what Lumin does, Craig, why don't you take us through who you are, how you got into franchising, and now what you're up to.
Sure. So fell into franchising. So I was an Army officer after I graduated from college, and then when I was getting out, was recruited to go to work for Taco Bell to run company restaurants for them. Didn't think I would be in that industry very long. I figured, well, I needed the job coming out of the service, and I'll do this for 6 months. I ended up spending 13 years with Yum Brands, but so was running the Minneapolis market for Taco Bell when our corporate parent at the time, PepsiCo, decided, hey, we want to refranchise. At the time, Taco Bell was about 80% company owned, 20% franchised. And in the mid 90s, they decided to completely invert that. So over the course of 5 years, sold over 1,800 company restaurants to franchisees and inverted the model. So my market was one of the very first to be sold. And so I worked on all of the logistics in handling the transition. So they concluded, well, he's the only guy that knows how to do this. So why don't we bring him on and he can become our guy who runs the transition. So I ended up working for the M&A team. And it was an interesting time because you're working for the company, you're trying to do what's right, but then you're also dealing with franchisees who have their own concerns and are they buying a bunch of lemons here and how do you manage this? So a good day for me was if I was getting cursed at by the franchisee and on the company side, I knew I was doing it right down the middle and I was being fair. So but I really fell in love with the franchising model at that point. Just asking a franchisee to use their money to build your brand was something that was not lost on me. And so, that began then a 20 plus year career of doing just that with multiple brands. Went to work for Sonic, Little Caesars, Wingstop, and then the I think the thing that I was most passionate about was going to work for Gold's Gym and being in the fitness industry for 5 years and growing that brand globally and working with just a variety of different franchise partners around the world and seeing how our brand interacted with consumers and what it meant to them. And so during the pandemic, obviously, things kind of imploded on the fitness side, or at least at Gold's Gym. And so I went back into the restaurant space, but missed it a lot. Really wanted to get back into it. And so my CEO from Gold's Gym, Brandon Bean, had been working on this concept, Lumin, for a number of years. And I had stayed in touch, and we had, talked about it and, discussed how you might be able to bring it to the market and made tweaks along the way. And so when the opportunity came to go back to work for him and to take on this brand, there wasn't a whole lot of discussion and thought process that needed to be done. So just really, really excited to be back in fitness.
Now, I think it's interesting because we very rarely, or that I talk to, see people that have really climbed the ladder in the food and beverage and then go over to health and wellness and then maybe go right and back. So has there been a lot of consumer similar trends or franchise trends you see amongst the two? Because they almost, while they work very in tandem, they also seem like polar opposites. I mean, you're in Taco Bell and now you're working out. I'm more on the Taco Bell side of things these days.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about, is there similarities among the two industries? And if not, are there different ways to approach this kind of growth and development?
Well, I think, from a franchisee standpoint, regardless of what industry, I think franchisees are all the same, right? So it comes down to that business model. Does it make sense? And can your brand and the services that your brand bring, are you going to support that franchisee through all of the things that they need to have done? So, whether it's fitness or in my case in the restaurant industry, those are really a lot of the same qualities that they're looking for. So I've not seen a lot of difference there. I think just in terms of growing those brands, each brand is going to have their own unique challenges in trying to grow, right? I mean, Yum brands, well-known brands, Taco Bell, Pizza, KFC, you don't have to do a lot in terms of lead generation, and it's you say no a lot more than you need to say yes, because you can, and that's a good thing. And then on the flip side of a startup like what we have here at Lumin, you're going to talk to a lot more people. I still think you need to be as selective in who you bring in, but you're going to certainly talk to a wider, broader group of folks to see if there's a fit.
Yeah, I think that's probably some of the best advice, or just very simply put, because I talk to a lot of franchisors and they want to grow fast, and they want to be Pizza Hut. And then you talk to Pizza Hut and they say, well, we say no all the time and we grow internally. And it's, understanding that there's different stages of growth, no matter what industry you're in. I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm in home services. I could never be like they are at Exponential because, whatever. And the truth is, it's bringing in the right people. It's slow and steady, and understanding that franchisees are the core of your business, not the concept, not the industry, the franchisees themselves. So now I want to jump in to Lumin. And my background is in health and wellness. I played professional basketball for a short stint, played in college, was in the weight room in fourth grade, So I've seen every, imaginable workout you can. But what makes Lumin different? Because it is a place where you're going to work out. That's all I'm going to say. You're going into a place to work out. And now what makes it different now?
Yeah. So Lumin Fitness is a boutique fitness concept, right? So it's high intensity functional training in a group setting. But the differentiator is each person in that class has their own AI generated personal trainer. So you have your earbuds in, You're interacting with this massive LED screen that has motion tracking technology built into the screen. So the AI trainer sees your movements and can provide you real-time feedback on how you're making those movements. So if you're doing a squat, your knees are sticking out, that coach will tell you how to bring it back in, how to get your feet shoulder width apart, how far down to bend, just like a real human coach would. Will bring you through all of those movements, and then will provide you encouragement and motivation, just like a coach would. So very, very different of a model, and certainly in the direction of where we're going as a society, right? With technology, I think we've been looking at how do you bring fitness and technology together in a way that is unique, as opposed to, hey, we've got heart rate monitors, or there's a screen on the wall and you can see the movement. We've built this in a way where there's significant tracking capabilities built into our system, and there's a library of movements that we have. So the screen or the AI coach knows what an Arnold press should look like, a proper one, and can guide you through that. The other, I think, neat piece of what we bring is that it can be completely customized. So if you come in and you're going, gee, I really don't want to do overhead movements today, my shoulders are sore, or I just have an injury and I can't do that, before the workout even begins, you'll see what the workout set is for the day, and you can select something else. So we can be standing next to each other doing the same workout. I'll give you a perfect example. My wife hates burpees. I think most people hate burpees, but she really hates burpees. And so that was the first thing, when we got in there, she's like, there's no way in hell I'm doing these. So I'll hold the plank and then you can jump up and down like an idiot. But we were doing the same workout. She picked her music, I picked my music. So it was individualized.
And it's in headphones?
Yeah, so you put in your headphones, right? And so when you come in, you pick what kind of persona coach you want. So, I usually go with a guy named Rex. Rex is a little bit more of a hard ass, kind of a drill sergeant. That's kind of the persona that you're going to get from him. My wife wants Chloe. Chloe is very bubbly and more engaging and more, oh, you can do this type of thing. And so that's just our preference. And then there's all different types of genres of music you can pick. So whether you want EDM or country or R&B, you can pick your own music, as opposed to a coach or the trainer of that day picking the music, and you have to listen to whatever the class is going to listen to. So a lot of individualization there with our concept, and it's where we see the market going. You see what Peloton has done, and a lot of these different app-based workouts. People want to choose what they want to do, and they want to do it whenever they want to do it.
So when they pick their persona, are they looking into a mirror? How is it monitoring your movements?
Sure. So it's not a mirror, it's the LED screen. So it's it's a 40-foot wall, and the screens are 9 feet high. So it's one continuous LED screen, and there's 7 stations in front of that wall. And then on the other wall, there's another 40 feet of wall. So there's 14 stations. You're actually engaging with the screen and playing a game. So your phone, you put your phone into a docking station. So your phone actually serves as the coaching tool. So it'll show you the movements on your phone, since everybody has one. But then what you're engaging with the screen is whatever the game is. So for example, if we're doing squats, it's counting my reps. So the rep count is up there. And it might be, hey, each squat I do, I'm breaking bricks in front of the screen. So I'm focused visually on this gamification, and there's this element called the rate of perceived exertion. So if I tell you to hang by a pull-up bar for as long as you can, you're immediately thinking, wow, this sucks, I'm hurting. You probably could do it, but you're thinking too much into it. Whereas if there's a game and you're playing something and your mind is on something else and you're listening to music, it takes your mind off of the pain and the exertion that you're going through, so you can actually get more out of your workout and do more, and you're not really thinking about how much pain or discomfort you're in.
So I can't wait until, well, hopefully I'm not the one buying it because they keep saying no more brands and no more kids, but probably we'll end up buying one. But I can't wait till this comes to my area because as an ex-athlete, I have had the hardest time working out recently. Well, not even recently since I retired because I have no why. Sure, you want to be healthy. Sure, you want to lose a few pounds, you want to get stronger. But for me, who was a competitive athlete, that's not enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a fully metal ankle. I have another one that's probably going to go at any moment. So I can't play competitive sports. And Peloton and those things are just not competitive enough. So I like this kind of, like you said, the gamification, and you're taking your mind off of the actual workout, and incorporating it in different manners. Now, my next question is, what would you say to the people that say, well, this isn't healthy? Now you've turned it into a video game. Now this is, there's always that perception that the future with technology and we're all going to get fatter and we're all going to be sucked into screens. How do you combat that? Because it's, from a rose-colored glasses, it's the best of both worlds.
Right.
But I could see someone coming in and saying, well, that's actually terrible for you. You're losing the human element.
Mm-hmm. You're actually not. And so, our mission is to transform lives through intelligent, interactive, and individualized fitness experiences. So we're very, very tied to that mission, and everything that we do to create with Lumin ties back to that. So, to the human component, there is a coach in the room. We have a human coach who's making sure that, you're interacting with the technology correctly, and is there really just as a guide. The technology brings you through the workout, but there's certainly a human coach there. You can also interact with the people to your left and right if you choose to do it. So when we're working out as a group, many of us keep one headphone out and we talk shit to each other while we're working out. It's just so it's more fun that way, but you don't have to, right? And so it's really what you feel like doing and how you want to engage with the technology that day. We have a guy who comes in every day. He goes to the same, he's station 6. He wants to be in his station. He likes it. He doesn't want anybody else around him, and he just gets at it. And, the gamification are at the end. We have a scorecard, so we're actually counting that. So all of your reps, if you're doing more reps than I am, you're going to get a higher point total. We're not displaying that necessarily on the board during the day, but when you walk outside the class afterwards, the leaderboard's right there. So if you are competitive, you can see how you did. You can check your score against what everybody else did that day. And so, we could turn it on inside the studio and put those scores up if people want to go head to head. But by and large, we do that at the end so people can see it. It's on your app at the end, so you know what you've done. And then we use those points to transform that into what we call Lumin Coin. So it's a loyalty program. So you get money essentially for how hard you've worked out, and then you can use that coin to maybe, hey, I want to bring a friend with me the next time. Oh, all right, for 500 Lumin Coin, you can bring a guest for free because you've already earned these points and this coin through all of your hard work. So, that's what we're trying to do is make it very, very interactive and deliver on what consumers want today, but not losing sight of the fact that this is a fitness program. We're asking people to pay us to exert some level of pain on them. So we just want to do it in a way where that's not on top of mind, that you're actually having fun, you're seeing results. Because it's funny, I've done, and I won't mention names, but I've done some of our competitors' workouts and then come and done ours. I can get more done, and I have a my zone, so I track all my MEPs and all of that. I can get more out of a 35-minute workout at Lumin and not realize how much more I got out of some of the others, simply because I'm, to your point, if you're competitive, I did 14 reps this round. I got to get 15. I got to get 16. So you're pushing yourself because you can see it, and your coach is there driving you on. So we do think that you're getting a superior fitness experience out of what we offer.
Now, this AI, is this proprietary software that you guys built, or have you just integrated a lot of different softwares and technologies to make this?
It's more the latter. I mean, we've used what's out there. When we started this 4 years ago, technology was in a very different place. I mean, it's moved very, very quickly. I mean, honestly, the concept itself is the same as where we are today, but we thought we would have to do a lot of voiceovers and bring people in and do the coaching and then kind of slide things in, as people moved. With how quickly AI has moved now, we can simply tap into it, which gives us a really unique runway. So, we had a call with an interested party out of Portugal. And I asked our guys, all right, so from a language standpoint, what does that mean? Oh, from an AI standpoint, it's easy. I mean, we make a couple of changes in a matter of minutes. We can convert everything that is done right now in English to Portuguese. And the same is true in any other language. So that gives us scalability around the world in a pretty quick amount of time.
And what do these classes run you as a consumer? If I wanted to go into Lumin and take one class or do the subscription model, what do those prices look like?
There's a range, and it's comparable to what you would find in most boutique studios. So it's about $28 to $30 for an individual class. I think our most popular package is twice a week, and that's right at about $129. You could do unlimited for a little bit over $200. But what we find is 40 to 50% of the people that use us also have a gym membership. So this is in addition to that gym membership. So they're not coming in every day. So 1-2 times a week is probably the sweet spot. It gives them the opportunity to do some high intensity functional training, and then they can do a more traditional workout in a gym.
Now, the $1 million question for me is, why franchise this? Why not sell it as a product and say, hotels, build a room and we can put the 40-foot screen in? Why did you guys decide to franchise this instead of selling it as a model where you probably could make a much quicker buck with a lot less support?
So we're actually doing both.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've had conversations with several hotel chains. We've had conversations with college and pro sport teams, and trainers are starting to look at this now. So to your earlier point about just trying to get motivated and tracking it, if a college trainer can come in and say, all right, I want my offensive lineman to do this particular workout, I can curate what those movements are. And then I don't have to stand there and watch it. I see at the end, I can bring up my app and see who did it, how many reps did they do, how much intensity did they put in behind it. So there's a check and balance, if you will, as opposed to, yeah, coach, I did it. And there's no way to know. So, there's a lot of off-season pieces to that where, particularly from a college standpoint, they can't always be there, and there's truly an off season. They're not supposed to train per NCAA rules, but now you can, and it's a way that they can monitor the progress. So we are doing both. We built this, so Brandon and I, having been at Gold's Gym, wanted to create a franchise program that incorporated all of the learnings that we had throughout our career. And Gold's Gym was really a unique situation where everything that you could possibly do wrong about franchising was done there. And that's not because of the brand. That's because, the brand was founded by, bodybuilders that really didn't understand the franchising business. And so they put a lot of things in these agreements that didn't make sense from a franchise standpoint. So 20, 30 years after, it's like, wow, we're trying to unravel some of these things. So we wanted to make sure that we were very focused on franchisees' profitability, providing comprehensive support behind the scenes, certainly with the tech side. Um, this is eliminating a lot of labor costs for a franchisee. So we
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that we kind of went all in. So, the POS system is handled back of the house. All of your data is handled back of the house. So we really want the franchisee simply to come in, turn on the lights, and interact with their members and give them a great experience. And we'll give them a business model that they really don't have to do much with. So a lot of that was the impetus behind let's put a franchise model together because we can scale this way. There's value to a franchisee and what they can make in terms of a return, and feel good about what they're offering to the member.
Now, do you guys have to? Are you building studios? Or are you just? Can you lease pre-made brick and mortars?
So from a company standpoint, so our first location in Las Colinas is a company location. We're not looking to do additional locations from a company side. We really want to go all in with franchising and be a great franchisor versus have kind of multiple hats, if you will. We've got a second location that we're looking to do in Dallas, potentially as a company operation, but in discussions with a franchisee to do that. So that'll be, I think, largely what will be our growth strategy go forward.
And but my question being, do they have to build these locations, or can they lease pre-made buildings?
Oh, no. Yeah, we're going into second generation space. It's, strip centers, 2,500 square feet of space. The location we're in is a former yoga studio, so it had a lot of the elements from a build out standpoint. So the build out itself isn't very difficult. It's a white box, a couple of restrooms, not much in the way of a check-in area or front desk because your phone is your check-in. So the moment you walk in, it knows you're there because you're synced with your app. So it's mostly just studio. So 1,700 square feet of studio, dark room, close the door, and off you go.
This just gets better every time I talk to you, I swear. So I'm trying to think. It's it's very selling home services before. One of our biggest things was it's not health and wellness or gym because we're not going to make you buy that big expensive equipment. Well, now you're telling me that you can open a health and wellness with the same benefits and you still don't need the big expensive equipment, correct?
Yeah, our equipment package is in the range of about 50 plus thousand, right around 50,000, and there's not much to it. It's
Wow.
dumbbells
Yep.
up to 50 pounds, slam balls, kettlebells, resistant bands. We have bikes, so not much there. I mean, obviously the cost of what we offer is in the tech.
Yeah.
The LED screens and the server that runs all of the technology. That's really where most of our expense is. But the equipment, we can see adding additional elements over time. We could certainly do yoga, so mats are relatively inexpensive.
I have
So
about 20 in my house I can donate.
well, we can make a deal offline afterwards. But yeah, so I mean, there's really not much there. We there's a lot you can do with the equipment that we have.
Yeah.
Our one of our co-founders was a CrossFit athlete, so he knows how to really maximize a workout with just some light weights. And I think we learned that during COVID, working out in garages. You can do a fair amount and really get a great workout in with just looking around and making things work.
So I guess, we're coming up on time, but my last question is, AI is such a hot topic now. And I think a lot of the reason why it's a hot topic is because it's relatively unknown. And especially in the franchising space that, everything's tried and proven and, done a million times. AI has not. So is there a concern for your brand moving forward that as technology develop, as laws around it develop, as hackers come in, as anything is anything can come in. Is there a concern on the franchisor side that we might be building something that could lend itself to failure should the landscape of the technology change?
We don't think so. And I think what we tried to do was harness AI for positive purposes.
Sure.
I think there's a lot, and rightfully so, there's a lot of concern out there about what AI can do. Your kids might not be old enough yet, but they will write papers with AI. I'm positive of that, right? It's like, oh,
If they don't, I'm going to be like, you're not being efficient.
exactly right. I mean, so, but you look at that from, from an employment standpoint. If I can go to a law firm now and I can get a brief from AI, that's an associate that I don't have to pay, right? The
Yeah.
senior partner can brief it, make changes, and then you've got it. So I do think there's going to be some negative pieces to AI that we have to deal with as a society. We've built this in a way where it's really there to help elevate someone's fitness experience.
Sure.
And our system is closed, so we don't. I guess there's always an opportunity for somebody to get creative and try to hack in, but we've created it in a way where it's our back end, where we've actually now stopped using Wi-Fi to function some of our pieces in the gym, and just go completely off of our server. So we think we have a closed loop, and we've kind of thought through all that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question because, I just did a panel on generative AI and open AI. And, that was the biggest concern, is that people not realizing that open AI truly means open. So, I think that there's a lot of value in the fact that you guys, like you said, have kind of closed that loop, and you're really keeping it, protected and proprietary. And my last question is, who is your target audience? Now, obviously, it's probably, the college athletes. Is it seniors? Is it kids? I could see a lot of value in this for younger kids. Like, I've got a video game kid. Thankfully, he's starting to like to get outside, but gone are the days where you could say go for a run, right? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so. I could see this being a hit with, and I'm not talking like teens, I'm talking like
Sure.
kids. So is that
Yeah.
something you guys are looking into, or are you really just sticking with like that prime age, average age adult?
Yeah, so I think there's two parts to that question. I think from a what we're doing now, from a Lumin Fitness boutique studio, we built this initially for that 20 to 40-year-old, Gen Y, Gen Z, tech savvy consumer who also enjoys fitness. And so we've seen that. We've seen a lot of our members come from that, but we've also seen a broader cross section of ages. We have folks coming in that are in their 50s that like engaging with it. It's new, it's different. It motivates them in a way where a gym hasn't. So we're seeing people who aren't, your typical heavy fitness user, who sees the value of, look, I've got to move and I like this, it's different. The coach is in my ear. I'm not getting called out on the floor by somebody else. So it's completely a safe space for me. It's a dark room. No one's looking at me. So there's a lot of safety in that. So that's kind of what we built it for, and what we're seeing from the consumer standpoint. What we can use the technology for is exactly what you said. So we've had, some of our investors have brought their kids over, and they're doing the workout. Now we would modify those movements and make sure they're not grabbing, hey, I can pick up 50-pound weights, Dad. But we can do that and get them moving at a younger age, which is, I think, the unfortunate thing of what we're seeing right now. Obesity is hitting us at earlier ages. We've got to get kids moving and get them back to what you said. I mean, we can't let them out, unfortunately, anymore and be on their own and go to the park and play football, and you always have to keep an eye on them. So this is a space where we can do that. Similarly, on the older side, I've had my 92-year-old father in there showing what kind of movements he could do, where we could do more of a silver sneaker type of a workout, where you could have it where it's, you can modify exercises and modify weights so someone, in that age group can benefit from any kind of movement.
Right. I think you're on to something, Craig.
We think so. We think so too.
So listen, Craig, I'm sure, just even, from the summit you spoke on, we had other franchisors getting super excited about this. If someone wants to connect with you, where should they go?
Certainly feel free to reach out to me either on my LinkedIn profile at Craig Sherwood, or my email address is Craig at Lumin, LUMIN.fitness.
Awesome. Craig, well, thank you so much for taking the time and coming and explaining to us, more about Lumen, and especially thank you to yourself and your other founders for kind of pushing the limits with franchising. I think we get a bad rap for being overly traditional. And this is something that we're seeing shake up the space in ways that benefit society and also are still providing less risk to entrepreneurs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetCertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netcertive.com.